Friends, in this video we are going to see the one of the important concept which is used in case of the deep learning, which is called as the vanishing gradient problem. So in this video we are going to see what is vanishing gradient, why this vanishing gradient problem is present in case of deep learning, what are the effect of this vanishing gradient over the learning of the deep learning, and how it is overcome. So in case of the deep learning, if you are using the sigmoid function as a activation function, which is given by the sigma of x equals to 1 by 1 plus e raised to minus x. This function compress all inputs to the range 0 and 1. So the output of the sigmoid function is between the 0 to 1 for any value of the x, or x is nothing but the net input for the neuron. The sigmoid neuron is said to have the saturated when sigma x is equals to 0 and sigma x equals to 1. So this function is the saturation function or the saturated function when the value of this function is becoming 1 or 0. So above certain values of the x or the net input of the neuron, this function gets saturated for this portion and this portion. Gradient of the sigmoid. So gradient of the sigmoid is given by derivative of the this function d dx of dx. So which is given as the sigma of x into 1 minus sigma x. So the function is sigma x into 1 minus sigma x. So this is the derivative of this function. So if you take the derivative of this function, you will get this one, sigma x, the function itself, into 1 minus the function itself. So what would be the gradient be at saturation? If you see that at the saturation level, so here the gradient becomes 0. So the value of function when it becomes the 1 or 0, the gradient or the gradient of this sigmoid function or the derivative of this sigmoid function becomes 0. If you consider the value of this function, that is sigma x is equals to suppose 1. So when it is 1, at that time the sigma x into 1 minus sigma x, so this will becomes as the 0, and because of this the function or the gradient of this function will becomes equals to 0. Similar case with the 0, when the value of this function sigma x is becomes 0, at that time the gradient will become 0 because of this sigma x. At the same time, when it is becomes as the suppose the 0.6, when it is zero point 0.6, at that time it will be the sigma x is 0.6 into 1 minus 0.6, so it is 1 minus 0.6, it will be 0.4. So 0.4 into 0.6, so this will be the 0.24. So the value of the function will be the gradient of this function will be 0.24 when the value of the function is equals to 0.6. Similarly, you can calculate the value the gradient of this function at the different value of this function. So function value is this one, and its derivative will be something different. Saturated. So anyway, the gradient of this function at saturation will be equals to 0. So when it is becomes, so value is becomes equals to 1 at saturation, or when it is becomes 0 at saturation, the gradient or derivative of this function will becomes equals to 0. So saturated neurons thus causes the gradient to vanish. So that's why it is called as gradient vanish, or why the gradient is vanish. That is because when the function is saturated, at that time its gradient becomes 0. So when the gradient becomes 0, there will not be any learning, because in case of the learning we require the some gradient should be continuously flow through the network. So gradient 0 means there is no learning, so there is no weight updation. So these are the effect of this gradient vanish problem. Why the neurons get saturated? That is maybe because of the use of the sigmoid function itself as an activation function. The neurons which is using the sigmoid function as the activation function will be get saturated. Another reason may be the if you are using the weight, initial weights are of the higher value, so that the net value of the any neuron will becomes very high, and because of that, if the net value, that is x, is becomes very high, it will be gets saturated. Or if the weight is initialized with the 0 value, if the weight is initialized with the 0 value, still its net output will become 0, and still this output of this function will be becomes saturated or becomes 0. Then what should be the weight initialization strategies? So the initial weight should not be equal, or it should not be 0 or 1. So if it is equal, all the weights initialization or initialize weight with the 0 value or equal value, then the gradient will be vanishes. At the same time, if you initialize all the weights will with 0 value, still the gradient will be vanishes. Or if you initialize with all the weights with the 1, still the vanishes will be initialized. So what should be the proper strategy for initialization of the weights? All the neurons in the layer 1 will get same activation output if you are initialized with the equal values or the 0 values or the 1 values as a weight. In that case, all the neurons in the layer 1, first hidden layer will get the same activation or the output, because weights are equal to the 0 or equals to 1, and because of this net output will be equal, and because of that this there will not be any gradient, and same activation or the you are getting the same output from all the neurons in the layer 1. Weights gets updated equally during the back propagation. In case of the back propagation, we are propagating the error to the from output to input, and this error will be gets multiplied with the output of the neuron. As the output of the neuron is remains same, so definitely the error will not be gets propagated back towards the input. So symmetry will not be break. So symmetry, that is the output of each and every neuron, will be remains same. So there will not be any learning in all. This is not a good idea to initialize the weight with the equal values or 0 or the 1 is not the good idea. So what should be the proper strategy for initialization of the weight? So initialize the weight to small random number near 0, which follows the uniform distribution. So we should initialize the weight of all uh, weight matrix or all the neurons to the small random number near the 0. So very small weights should be used which are near to the 0 for all the weight matrix of the this neural network, so that this problem can be avoided. Sigmoid function is linear, so you should use the values of the weight very small, such that the net value of the function should be within this part, because the output of the sigmoid function within when the input is within this range, small range, so at that time the output of the sigmoid function is linear within this portion. So we should use the weight such that the net input of the neuron should be within this range, so that the output of the sigmoid function will be in the linear range. So within this linear range, the sigmoid function is the sensitive one. It is linear as well as it is sensitive, and it will give the somewhat large gradient. So gradient will be larger one within this portion. So our input or the weight should be initialized such that net input should be within this range. So so near 0 it will be having the large gradient as well as it will be the sensitive to the input. So when there is a small change in the input, there is a large change in the output, or the gradient will be present. So this will have the fast learning. So to get the fast learning or the uh, earlier convergence, we should use the initial weight very small values near to 0, so that this net value of the any neuron will be lies within this range, and the output of that neuron given by the sigmoid function will be within this range, which is the linear one. So in that case your network will be learn fast as well as it will converges earlier. So let us consider the one example to understand this gradient vanishing problem. So let us consider the small network having the only one hidden layer. So these are the input neurons. This is the hidden layer having only two nodes, single layer, and this is the output node or output layer having only the single node. So these are the weights, connection weights from the x1 to h1, maybe the w11. So this weight will be the x2 to h1, so that will be the w21. So this weight coming towards the h1 from the third input, that will be the w31. So in that way we can give the weight matrix. Along with that, there are the bias input for this each and every hidden neurons as well as output neurons, and these are the outputs. O11 is the output of H1, O21 is the output of output neurons O, and this is the output of the H2 O12. So first we have to calculate the net input for this H1 before calculating the output. Net input for this H1, which is given as the Z, which is equals to sigma Wx plus B. Sigma Wx is nothing but the x1 into W1 plus x2 into W21 plus x3 into W31 plus its bias input. So that will give you the net input for the H1, and then that we are applying to the your sigmoid function as an activation function. So it is a 1 by 1 plus e raised to minus z. So z is nothing but the this value, that is the weighted sum of the inputs. Then to get the output of this one, so we are getting the output O11 when you apply the z input or the net input to the sigmoid function of H1. So every neuron H1, H2 and O is using the activation function as the sigmoid function. So it will give the output. Similarly, you can calculate the output of O2 by using the net input for the H2 from X1, X2 and X3 along with its weight. So then apply it through the sigmoid function, it will give you the output O12. Then we can calculate similarly the output of the O. So that will be equals to the output of this one, that is O11 along multiplied with the certain weight of this. Output of this one is O12 multiplied with the some weight, and then apply the sigmoid function, and then we will get the output of this output node. So that is a general procedure for calculating the output of any neuron. So we are getting the y hat. Y hat is nothing but the actual outputs what we are getting from this one, that is O21. Then once we get the output, actual output, we have the target output. So anyway we are going to do all this weight updation for getting the target output, which is equals to y. Then we can find out the certain loss function, or we can define the some loss function, so that optimization function we can use. So loss function may be the y minus y hat. Y is your target output and y hat is the actual output. So anyway we require to use any optimization function to reduce this loss function. So our ultimate aim is to reduce the loss or reduce the cost function, or to reduce the error y minus y hat. Then for that we are using the weight updation, and weight updation is used by using the back propagation algorithm. So in case of the back propagation algorithm, we are finding the error, that is y minus y hat. We are using the certain loss function, maybe the theta, and that loss function or the error is to be back propagated. So as we have seen the back propagation algorithm, so this error is to be back propagated. While back propagating, we are finding the effect of this output or the output of the previous node on the output of the next node. So we are going to find out the effect of change in this output on this output of this O. So here the weight updation formula is W11 new is equals to W11 old minus eta. Eta is nothing but the learning rate. Derivative of the loss function dl by dw11. So what we are doing going to do with this one, we are going to find out the effect of weight change w11. Suppose you want to find out the what is the effect on the loss function or the error function by changing the weight w11. So we can find out this by using the taking the derivative of the loss function with respect to weight. Then this can be found out by using the chain rule, which is used in case of the back propagation algorithm. In this case, W21 is depends upon the W11, So you can take the partial. So to find out the overall effect of the change in the weight over the change in the output or the loss function. So dl by dw1. So we can take the partial derivative because O21 output of this node is depends upon the output of this node. Output of this node is depends upon the weight. So you can take the partial uh, derivative of O21, this one, divided by derivative change in the O11, this one. So this divided by this multiplied by derivative of O11 with respect to W11. So DO11 divided by DW11. So this is the chain rule which is used in case of the back propagation algorithm. Then what is the value of the derivative? So all the neurons H1, H2 and O, all these are used the sigmoid function as the activation function. And when you see the activation function, derivative of the activation function or the sigmoid function as it is used as the activation function, it is ranges between the 0 to 0.25. So if you see that this is the our sigmoid function which is goes through the 0.5 when the value of x is or the z, in this case it is the z, is equals to 0, its value is 0.5. So and this is your function sigmoid function 1 by 1 plus e raised to minus z. Its derivative, if you take the derivative, it will become as the f dash z is equals to f of z. So this function itself into 1 minus function again. So by taking the derivative of this 1 by 1 plus e raised to minus z, you will get this formula. So the function is this and its derivative is this one or the gradient is this. So if you consider the value of this function is 0, okay, function f of z is 0, so at that time as f of z is 0, so definitely f dash z will be equals to what is the value of so the value of this function when z is 0, the fz is equals to 0.5. As it is 0.5, so f dash z is equals to 0.5 into 1 minus 0.5. This value will be once as the 1 minus 0.5, it is 0.5. 0.5 into 0.5, it will be equals to 0.25. So the maximum value of the derivative of the f of z is equals to 0.25. As the f of z is increases, suppose it is the 0.8. At 0.8, the f of z is 0.8. 1 minus 0.8, it will be equals to 0.2. So 0.2 into 0.8, it will be 0.18. So the value of the derivative of this function will be decreases. Similarly, when it reaches to the 1, f of z reaches to the 1, so it will be the f of z is 1, 1 minus 1 will be equals to 0. So the f of f dash z or the derivative or the gradient will becomes equals to 0. So it will be reduces. Similarly, on another side, if the value of this function is 0.2, fz is 0.2, so fz is 0.2, 1 minus 0.2, it will be 0.8, so 0.8 into 0.2, it will be 0.16. So it will be anyway reduces. When it reaches to the 0, so it will be becomes the f of z is 0, so it will becomes the 0. So this graph is the output of the sigmoid function, and its derivative f dash z is this one. So it will be having the maximum value at 0.25 and the minimum value is 0. So that's why this function or the derivative of the sigmoid function is ranges between the 0 to 0.25. So derivative value you can select between this one. So that's why here we are taking the derivative of this part or the partial derivative of this one O21 to the O11. This will be the some random value we are taking less than 0.25, it equals to 0.2 into derivative of this one. So derivative of this value is less than the this one. So the neurons which is near to the output having the higher derivative but less than 0.25. The neurons which are having the which are near to the input layer, their derivative values will be less. It will be goes on reducing. So this will we are considering the randomly 0.02. So this will be equals to 0.04. So the uh, derivative of the loss function with respect to weight W11. So what we are going to find out? We are finding the effect of change in the W11 to over the effect over the change in the loss function. and that we can find out with this one, this method of the backpropagation algorithm, and this will be the equals to 0.04. And if you assume that this from in this formula, so this value is 0.04, eta or the learning rate we are assuming 1, and W11 old is equals to 2.5, some no, some value of the weight we are assuming. Okay, so W1, so with this one your value of the W11 new, so this one will be the old is 2.5 minus this will be equals to 0.04, this will be equals to the 2.46. So W11 new weight will be changed to the 2.46 from old weight was 2.5. So there is a very small change in the weight. If you go for, so this is for only the single hidden neural, hidden layer. If you go for the more number of hidden layers, in that case, this function will have the more number of partial derivative terms. Okay, so if you are considering the 3 number of hidden layers, so you may get the 4 number of partial derivative, and all the partial derivatives, so this partial is output to the first layer, the derivative partial derivative will be value we are considering as the 0.2. Next from that to towards the input layer, the partial derivative value is less than this one, so we are considering 0.1. So these are the assumed values, and that will be goes on reducing towards the input. So derivative values will be goes on reducing towards the input from the output layer. So that product will be equals to 10 raised to power minus 5. So it is a very small. So this value is becomes very small. This part or this a term becomes very smaller one. Eta you can assume as the 1, so normally it is less than 1, but still we are assuming the equals to 1, and because of that this will be the very small value, and then W11 will be approximately equals to W11 old. So W11 new or the new weight will be approximately equals to the old weight. What it suggests, so there is no change in the weight after the weight change or the after the any iteration. So or some cases this may becomes the exactly equals, and in that case there will be no learning or there is no weight updation. So that's why the reason is that the people use the less number of hidden layers till the ReLU function was not available. So initially this only the sigmoid function was available, and because of that the you cannot go for the more number of hidden layers. So you cannot go for the actual deep learning. So we have to use only the very limited number of hidden layers, because if you use the more number of hidden layers and your activation function is sigmoid function, so this vanishing gradient problem will be there, and because of that there will not be any learning for the neural network, and because of that we have to limit the number of hidden layers, so it will becomes as the normal neural network. So that was the problem, but this problem is solved after the invention of the ReLU activation function. So this effect of the vanishing gradient problem. So vanishing gradient occurs in the training process of backpropagation when output error fails to reach to the further node. So as we have seen in previous slide, the nodes which are near to the output layer, these are having the higher gradient, and the nodes which are near to the input layer, these are having the lower gradient, and because of that the gradient is very less near to the input layer, and this error cannot be reached towards the input layer from the output layer in case of the backpropagation algorithm. The hidden layer close to input layers are not properly trained. So all hidden layers are not properly or equally trained in case of the this vanishing gradient problem. So you can see this network. So input layer, there are the hidden layers. So these are the hidden layer near to the input layer, and this is the output layer, and some of the hidden layers near to the output layer. So because of this vanishing gradient problem, the hidden layers which are near to the input layers are having the smaller gradient. Hidden layers near to the output layers having the larger gradient. These are having the or these are learn slow because very small change in the weight or very small change update in the weights in case of the hidden layer near to the input layer, but the hidden layer near to the output layers are having the a large update or the learn very fast because there is the large change in the output. So in the same epoch these layers are learn less, and these layers, hidden layers near to the output layers, are learning larger. So almost random, because as the initially you are initialize the weight with the random small values, so this will be remains as the same one, no change in the weights, the hidden layers near to the input layer, while these layers are changing, or their weights are changing very high, which are the hidden layer near to the output layer, and because of that they make reach to the their convergence. So these weights are not changed at all, while this change or these weights are updated. So in this case, the hidden layers which are near to the input layer are very less trained or not trained at all, and the hidden layers near to the output layers, these are trained very well. So there is the unequal or the not uniform training for all the hidden layers, and because of that your training is not proper, or the layers are not properly trained, and it will gives the number of problems. So some of the layers are reaches to the convergence, and some layers are not trained at all. So that is the effect of the vanishing gradient problem. So this can be avoided by using the ReLU function, because the ReLU function is not uh, you can say saturate at all for the any value of the z or the x, and because of that this problem cannot be appear in case of the ReLU function or the leaky ReLU function. So this is something about the vanishing gradient problem. In next video we are going to see about the uh, this how the training, or how uh, the another problem that is called as the overfitting and the underfitting. So in that video we'll see the what is underfitting, overfitting, how this can be occurs, and how this has to be avoided or the overcome. So thank you. So we'll meet in the next video.